Good evening. Welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School football. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, being joined again by Jim Allinder and Phil Hill for tonight's game between East Brunswick and Edison High School. Gentlemen, East Brunswick comes in 1-1 record. I'm not sure we've seen the real East Brunswick High School football team. Last week in Saraville, that wasn't weather for any team. But Jim, let's talk a little bit about East Brunswick and what they're looking to do tonight.
Well, they're looking to score some points, and they're looking to do it through the air. I had thought that tonight would be probably the first real opportunity that Brian Forte, the all-star quarterback, would have to air it out, and he probably will. However, on the receiving end, Ramon Trent was slightly injured last week against Saraville, we thought, but apparently it's a little more serious, enough so that head coach Marcus Borden is going to rest him tonight. So we will not see Ramon Trent, who has but 2 catches in 2 games, and that's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Joe Giroux, I understand, is not playing this evening for other reasons we can't get into. And that leaves Mike Feldman, Dave Potter, the tight end. I know you had talked about a desire for Forte to go to Potter. Perhaps we'll see that tonight.
Okay.
I really do think that East Brunswick is going to try to attack through the air, because with Forte, you cannot but try something like that. We have Joe DeVito on the ground and Dave Goldstein to provide an effective attack for East Brunswick. But I believe that East Brunswick is going to try to air it out tonight against Edison.
Okay, and Phil, Edison comes in. They're 0-1. They had a tough tough loss last week against Kennedy. They're a young team. Inexperience, I guess, is the real key for them.
They're a very young team, and it's just a program trying to get its foot on the ground. The very personable Gary Ryder is confident, though. I mean, he's really upbeat about his team. Says that he feels he's responsible somewhat because they only had 2 scrimmages and felt his team wasn't quite ready to play that first game. He feels they're pretty much ready now. He feels that they're going to, in order to beat East Brunswick, they're going to have to stop East Brunswick from having a big play, make them run down the field, so to speak. And with Trent out and Giroux out, who knows what's going to happen.
Phil, what can we expect from Edison on offense?
Well, this will be interesting, too, because they're going to do a little bit of everything. They have a multiple offense. They'll do a little wishbone, they'll do a little option. And quite frankly, John, I'm interested to see how East Brunswick defense will react. Rain had played havoc with them the first 2 games. They did play a pretty good game against Saraville last week, but you couldn't really gauge anything with that.
Yeah, right.
So it's interesting to see how well the Bears defense is going to react.
Okay, so we're just about ready for game time here. East Brunswick and Edison. East Brunswick's first home evening opener of the season. Again, they come in 1-1, and Edison coming in 0-1. And we'll be back with the start of the action in just a moment. We're about ready to go here at East Brunswick High School. And while I have a moment, let me give you the names of the officials. The referee is Mr. Bai Kramer. The umpire tonight will be Mr. Scott Van Arslan. The linesman is Mr. Jack Wattrow. The field judge is Mr. Ed Harris. And our clock operator is a friend of all of ours up here, and that's Red Losowitz.
Hey, John, I'd like to add some more positive notes here. Get the soccer team's results out of the way. The girls team extended their record to, I believe, 6-0, 7-0 by defeating previously unbeaten South Brunswick by a 5-2 score. Leanne Swartz, who else, registered 3 goals, and that really gives the girls a good boost as they go into Monday night's game that we're going to be televising against North Brunswick, which has a 5-0-1 record. The boys, led by Mike Venezia, was able to bounce from a 1-1 tie in the 4th quarter to score 2 goals and beat St. Joseph's by a 3-1 score, and that brings their record, I believe, to 7-0. And they too will be playing North Brunswick on Monday night.
Okay, thanks, Jim. You see out on the center of the field is East Brunswick captains Brian Forte and Mark Harmon. Waiting to see who will kick off and receive to start tonight's action.
Phil Edison, I'm sorry, John.
No, I just wanted to point out what a beautiful evening it is here tonight.
About time.
Yeah, after 2 weeks of rain.
Now, Phil, I was going to mention Edison comes in with a 0-1 record, having lost to John F. Kennedy 22-7. Kennedy is a Group 2 or 3 team at best. What does that say as far as Edison's ability?
I don't know what it says. I don't think it says much of anything. You know, I think a lot of this is overplayed about the groups. I think numbers certainly count for something. I had an opportunity to see a Group 1 team last week, South River, and they look like they could beat anybody.
This was not a lead-in, John, by any chance.
But the groups have there's some validity to it as far as size, but I think it's too early to tell.
All right, East Brunswick has won the toss. They'll receive. They'll be moving left to right on your screen. They're in the dark green home jerseys, Edison in the white. As we mentioned, Edison comes in 0-1 after losing to JF Kennedy last week. East Brunswick comes off a 15-0 shutout of Saraville, and a much improved Saraville team at that we saw.
Be interesting to see who replaces Trent and Giroux. I'm sure Feldman will be receiving a lot more attention. I see Brian Forte tossing the ball to number 24, John Pressman, who is a 6'3", 165-pound senior.
All right, back deep for East Brunswick will be Pat Casanelli, number 33, Dave Goldstein, number 23, and Troy White, number 7.
For years, John, Edison would always give East Brunswick a real rough, tough game, no matter what their record is.
Do you think the Bears are going to try to surprise the Eagles and just run the ball straight up the middle instead of doing the fake?
That indeed would be a surprise.
Chris Nicholas, number 50, will kick it off for Edison, and we're just about ready to get underway.
The reverse, almost a trademark with East Brunswick.
And here we go. Nicholas with a short kick. Goldstein will field it at about the 12. Goes straight up the middle with it. And Goldstein around the 35-yard line. So East Brunswick will start off with good field position.
So we see Mike Feldman as lone receiver.
And I don't think there's going to be any surprise. I think East Brunswick's going to try to come out and establish that running game. See if they can actually run on the Eagles here.
All right, Forte brings him out. DeVito and Goldstein in the backfield. Feldman and Greenberg split wide. Brian looks. Feldman, and it's dropped, incomplete. Quick little look in.
Well,
as Phil said, they're going to try to establish the running game.
Well, it sort of makes sense.
Sure
these
does.
receivers are going to be, you know, the ones in the game, and let's try short passes to get them used to touching the ball early on, build up their confidence. Unfortunately, the catch wasn't made.
2nd and 10 for the Bears, the ball on their own 36. Second play of the game. Brett Charleston in, he's wide right, pitch to Goldstein. Goldstein with a nice hole, up close to the 45-yard line, pick up about 8 yards.
He showed a spark of some running ability in the Cherokee game,
Well,
John and Phil.
I'll tell you, actually, he's been doing it since the beginning of the year, and it really isn't a surprise. He showed it at flashes of it at the end of last year, and he's just carrying on from there.
3rd and about 2 for the Bears. The ball just shy of their own 45.
Lots of new receivers in tonight. Warren Greenberg, number 80, is on the field.
This is DeVito. It'll be close for the first down.
Looks like he just was able to nudge forward for the first down on that last play.
And they'll give it to him. 1st and 10 for East Brunswick.
Good hard running by Joe DeVito, and like it's Joey DeVito probably can pick up 2 yards just about any time. He seems like he's coming out right now. It looks like to be a wrist injury. He's holding his wrist.
Greg Rulo goes in, number 40. He's in the backfield now with Goldstein. Charleston and Greenberg to the right. Forte looking, puts it up for Charleston, intercepted. Andy Marigato intercepts for Edison. Forte was looking for Charleston, threw it by him.
I'll tell you what happened. Just a totally disruptive play. Charleston went out, lost his footing, John, got back up. Brian tried to hit him, and it just wasn't on.
It's his second interception thrown this year in 3 games.
All right, so Edison takes over. 1st and 10 on their own 36-yard line. D-Land is the quarterback, number 14. They come with a full house backfield.
That's the wishbone.
Yes, it is.
There's the fake dive. DeLand still has it. Looking. He's going to keep it. He pitches to the outside.
He may be gone.
That's Cannon.
He's gone.
Goodbye, Dave Cannon for Edison.
That was run perfect. The East Brunswick defender converged on the quarterback, and the pitch out was right there. And boy, that fellow has some speed.
Well, I'll tell you, John, in the pregame, I snickered a little bit when we said they were going to run the wishbone, but even I didn't think it would have that type of effect this early in the game.
64 yards, Dave Cannon puts Edison on the board, 6-0.
I'll tell you why it's surprising. East Brunswick, if it did anything this past winter, was concentrate on defensing the wishbone. Marcus Borden knew that he would be facing a strong wishbone team in Madison Central, and but they were caught by surprise.
Guarino on for the extra point. Up and no good, wide left, so Edison on top 6-0 as Cannon goes 64 yards on that option.
Well, I'll tell you, John, this is the second time this year that the Bears have been scored on the first offensive play of the game, and I tell you, it's rather disconcerting.
It really does make you ask some questions about the defense ability to stop the run.
I think to say there's an air of shock.
They're stunned.
There's an underestimate. Yeah, I agree, Phil. People are stunned here. And this is exactly what Edison wanted to do, get on top quickly.
Well, we'll have to find out about the Eagles' defensive ability. I think that interception the last time by Forte was more of a defender being in the right place at the right time and not doing anything special.
Well, that's the object of the game, Jimmy.
Yeah,
to be in a place, proper place at the right time. They're taking advantage of the Bears' mistakes, and that's the big part of the game.
All right, Nicholas ready to kick it off again for the Eagles. Casanelli, Goldstein, and White back deep. 10:02 to go, first period, and Edison's on top, 6-0. Kick is short, and it goes out of bounds. Flag is thrown.
Okay, let's see if we have a re-kick here.
I believe it comes out to the 30, doesn't it?
Could be the 40-yard line. Okay.
Oh, I guess they're going to have him kick it over.
We hear our PA announcer.
So they'll move the Eagles back 5 and have them try it all over.
Phil, a wishbone offense really provides a lot of problems for East Brunswick, doesn't it?
Well, I made a joke the first game that wasn't too kind, but seriously, they're going to have to learn the defense and quick.
All right, Nichols ready to boot it out again. East Brunswick should have the ball in good field position. This will be Troy White at his 21-yard line.
Got a wedge
again,
there.
straight up the middle. White trying to break through the pack close to the 45. And East Brunswick will go on offense for the second time this evening.
And we see faces like Mike Feldman coming out there as a pass receiver. Number 80, Warren Greenberg, who has not had a heck of a lot of action this year.
Well, I'll tell you, you got to see a lot of Dave Potter tonight. He's just too big of a target. I don't think they can stop him from coming off the line, and he's one of the more sure-handed receivers, so you got to see a lot of him.
Yeah.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Bears. Feldman and Greenberg, wide right. Forte drops back, has some time, looking, being pressured. And he's going to be dropped for a loss.
Certainly had enough time.
And that was Nichols, number 50 for Edison.
Totally blindsided Brian Forte. Brian didn't see him at all.
Ball moved back to the East Brunswick 36-yard line.
I was watching Dave Potter on that play. He seemed to have some single coverage. Nothing special. I was thinking that perhaps being the most experienced receiver, Edison would probably try to concentrate on him.
2nd and 18 for the Bears. Charleston and now Feldman wide right. Slant with Goldstein carrying. Goldstein close to the original line of scrimmage. Picks up about 6. Bring up a 3rd down for the Bears. Should point out that Marcus Borden calls the offensive plays for East Brunswick. 3rd and 11 now for East Brunswick. At their own 44. Forte drops straight back again. Sets, moves up in the pocket. He's going to run it.
Oh, nice speed.
He's got the 1st down and more. Out at about the 35-yard line of Edison.
Well, I talked about it last time we aired that Brian Forte probably will do a lot more running this year. And it looks like he's going to have to do it out of necessity. He's just getting a tremendously fierce rush, and it's forcing him to take off.
That's right. Edison, as other teams, are going to just put a lot of pressure on Brian Forte. They feel that the way to get to East Brunswick is to get to Forte.
All right, East Brunswick 1st and 10 on the Edison 34-yard line. Again, Charleston and Feldman wide right.
Looks like an audible being called here.
I formation. Flag thrown. Pass incomplete, looking for Feldman on a crossing pattern. We'll see what the penalty is.
The way it was thrown is either a motion or an offside.
Motion against East Brunswick. That'll move him back 5 yards.
And let's see if Edison takes this penalty.
No, they decline it. It will bring up 2nd and 10. A little surprised by that.
Edison not fearing that East Brunswick can get large chunks of yards. That's saying, come to us.
All right, Forte calling signals. Fakes it, looks over the middle for Potter. There he is, wide open. 1st down, Dave Potter inside the 15-yard line.
First pass completion for Forte tonight.
And there he is, Phil.
Well, Potter will be thrown to at least 15 times today, John. I see no reason why. Nobody seemed to can stop him coming off the line. He's the most sure-handed receiver you have, and you got to get the ball to him.
All right, the Bears have it 1st and 10 at the Edison 14. Looking to score and get on this board. They trail 6-0 with 7:35 to go here in the 1st period. Goldstein, left side, down to the 10-yard line.
Nice cut. He didn't have any room on the outside. Elected to go in and salvaged about 3 or 4 yards on that play.
I'll tell you, East Brunswick's had better backs, faster backs, stronger backs, but I don't know if they've had anybody quite as shifty. He's just a shifty little back.
Remember Billy Brunig a couple of years ago?
Okay.
Last year.
Twist and turn.
2nd and about 7. The ball resting on the Edison 10-yard line. Forte drops, rolls to his right.
He probably can run it if he wants.
He's got a man. Touchdown, East Brunswick. That's Warren Greenberg, number 80. His first score of this year. So East Brunswick ties it at 6.
Okay, 13-yard touchdown pass, I believe that was.
Nice catch by the young fellow there, and that's exactly what the Bears needed.
Yeah, they did come back and find style.
Greenberg holding, Levine on for the extra point to put East Brunswick on top. Kick is up and good. And so East Brunswick takes the lead 7-6 with 6:53 to go here in the first period.
You know, I'd like to see Dan Levine have a long field goal try tonight. I was watching him before the game, and he was popping them from near 50 yards out.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, the young man is just exceptional. We knew we would have a fine kicker once Josh Miller left, but he proved a lot of things last week in the rain.
Let me say something about that game in the rain, too. Dan Levine did an excellent job kicking, but I have to say Warren Greenberg took 2 snaps out of the mud, set that ball down for him, and I think he was, as much as Dan Levine, responsible for those 6 points.
Well, an excellent point, John.
So East Brunswick sort of grasped some momentum off of that touchdown and are going to try to put some defensive pressure on Edison, which will probably come out in a wishbone, Phil.
All right, Edison sends back Cannon and DeLand deep. Levine will kick it off.
Forte in that drive had 2 pass completions, one for 18 and the other for 10 yards, the 10-yard pass being the touchdown. So he is 2 for 3 on the evening. Also believe that's his 2nd touchdown pass.
Levine, nice high kick. This will be Cannon at about his 6-yard line. Up the middle, gets to the outside. And is dropped just after he crosses his own 25-yard line. Mr. Cannon seems to have a little speed, Phil.
He has some speed. He's just a junior, but he's their speedster, and if he gets to the outside, he can fly, as we know.
All right, Edison now with their 2nd possession. They scored on the first play of the game for them on offense, with Cannon going 64 yards. DeLand's at quarterback. They come out again in that wishbone formation. This is a handoff to the up man. I didn't see a number. That's number 11. That's Wall, Tom Wall.
That's their fullback. And I tell you, you might wonder just why the Bears have so much trouble with the wishbone. It requires a disciplined defense. And I think East Brunswick sort of mirrors their coach. Intense, and every nerve in you wants to say, go for the ball. Against the wishbone, you got to be disciplined, very disciplined, John.
Okay, they pick up 5, so it's 2nd and 5 for Edison. The ball on their own 34. DeLand keeps it. I think the ball was fumbled. It was. East Brunswick has it.
Wow.
So a big turnover for the Bears.
Number 35 recovering that fumble, Costantino Dono.
Duano.
I tell you what, he's taken over fame, the best name for the Bears. It used to be Rosario Chetta, but I like this name better. Costantino. How do you say it?
Duano, I believe.
Duano.
I'm not getting involved. Great play, though. East Brunswick 1st and 10 now in Edison territory, looking to add to their lead.
And East Brunswick might try to strike quick.
Over the middle to Potter, wide open, inside the 20.
Same plays we saw before, and Edison will have to adjust on that.
And I said it, if he doesn't get 15 passes tonight, he won't get any.
It's just a quick little look in. Dave Potter just takes a few steps and looks right for the ball. And so far, he's been all alone, Phil.
He's 220 pounds, and nobody can stop him from getting off that line. He's a strong kid.
All right, 1st and 10, the ball at the Edison 18. Forte fakes the Goldstein, rolls right.
He's got an option.
Throws it in the corner. That's Charleston. Charleston taken out at about the 4-yard line.
And East Brunswick is doing everything through the air, anything it wants to.
I'll tell you, Charleston did a little dance there, pardon the pun.
I thought we heard enough last week with the wishbone, but you topped it.
This is going to be a long game. East Brunswick has it 1st and goal. Ball on the 4-yard line of Edison.
And
DeVito
Brian
in the backfield with Goldstein. Forte looking to throw. He's looking for Feldman. Being pressured. Dumps it off for Goldstein.
Ooh.
Almost intercepted.
And unlike the professionals that we're so used to seeing, there's no in the grass.
I'll tell you, actually, he was trying to hit Joey DeVito on there, and it was tipped by a defensive player, almost intercepted. Brian seems to be holding the ball a split second longer than he has in the past. And one reason for that, I think he's just taking on more responsibility, you know, thinking he has to do a lot more than he has before, previously.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too, Phil, he was looking at Feldman all the way. Feldman had good coverage on him. Anyway, it'll bring up 2nd and goal for the Bears. They come now with a full house backfield.
Watch the draw.
That's Goldstein right up the middle. Goldstein's in for the score. Dave's Goldstein from 4 yards out.
Nice counter. Good blocking on the inside there, too, on the right.
So the Bears capitalize on an Edison turnover. Go on top 13-6 with 4:48. Levine to add the 14th point. Greenberg will hold. Good foot again.
That was pretty. And Dan Levine does a diving act.
Acting job.
It's 14-6 East Brunswick.
That point after was well executed, I thought. Center snap was there, and you had mentioned Greenberg doing a good job of holding. He seems to be a natural for that job.
I'll tell you, John, I'd like to amplify on defense in the wishbone, because I think this is something the Bears are going to have to contend with. When I said that they have to be disciplined, the way you defend the wishbone, you cover areas. And first thing you got to do is stand up that fullback, and then each person has a assignment. One person takes the quarterback, another guy has the pitch man, and so forth. And that requires great discipline. And every nerve in football teaches you to go towards whoever has the ball, react towards whoever has the ball. East Brunswick's going to have to get that down, certainly well before the Madison Central game.
Well, not only that, but a future opponent, November 12th, Woodbridge, I understand, opened up against Madison Central using a wishbone.
All right, Levine, good kick. Cannon at his 10. He's got some running room, looking for a block. Troy White, good tackle, takes him down at the 25.
Troy White, good open field tackle. A strong defensive player for East Brunswick in the secondary. Has an interception, I believe, this year for the Bears.
So Edison will start deep in their own territory. We'll mark just shy of the 25, 1st and 10.
Take it back, Troy White has 2 interceptions.
Come out with that wishbone offense. Deland quarterbacking. Fake the wall, Deland still has it. He's gonna keep it. And he'll pick up about 4 yards.
Phil, East Brunswick's playing a 2 linebacker set. What is the role of the linebackers in defending the wishbone?
The role of it depends you can have different assignments. It depends on how you want to use your personnel. It depends on how strong your line is. If your line can stand up that fullback, your interior lineman, then you can put your linebackers on either the pitch man, or you can even put them on the quarterback.
Let's call it 2nd and 6 for Edison. Hand off to number 21 on a straight dive play. That's Tom Baird.
And that was Mark Harmon, 34, you see there.
A fired up Mark Harmon, and a great defensive play there.
Well, he wants to get involved in the action in the worst way. We all know what a great running back he was last year. Has been confined to playing defense due to the rehabilitated knee. Coach Borden does not want to risk further injury on Mark Harmon's part.
I'll tell you, the Bears better be careful. Gary Ryder says he has a few surprises, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pass off this wishbone. Deland is not their best passer, but in a given situation, he may have to do it.
Deland calling signals. Fakes, rolls to his right.
He's got room.
He's got room. He's going to keep it.
Ooh.
And he's going to be close to a 1st down. We'll see where they mark it.
Yeah, they mark it across the 35-yard line, so that should be enough.
It is 1st down, Edison. Deland took a hard hit on the sidelines, but he had enough for the 1st down.
You talked about an option being the pass on the wishbone. I didn't know it was true. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Madison Central certainly doesn't use it.
In their victory over Woodbridge last week, they put the ball in the air exactly one time.
Edison content to stay in that wishbone offense. Good faking by Deland, and he's sacked.
Good penetration.
Number 69 for East Brunswick. That's Scott Brunetti.
I tell you, he shot out of there like Ben Johnson coming out of the blocks that time and made a fine tackle.
I hope we're pronouncing that young man's last name properly.
Brunat.
Brunat. Excellent play. A loss of about 4 yards. Call it 2nd and 14, the ball on the Edison 33. Deland pitching to Madama. Madama gets close to the original line of scrimmage.
And I thought the defense showed some good discipline there.
And you saw number 50, the sophomore, Matt Pazinko, shoot in there again. And it's a matter of calls for discipline. It's tough to ask a young sophomore to do that.
We have an injured East Brunswick player. It looks to be Mike Hack, number 63. We'll have an official timeout. Phil Hostler on the field. 1:53 to go here in the first period. East Brunswick on top, 14-6.
Mike Hack down, getting up right now. And it looks like he's okay.
Really excellent crowd here tonight.
Third down for Edison. It'll be 3rd and about 9.5, if you will. Ball just across their own 36.
One difficult thing about the wishbone is when you expect a pass, it's very difficult to achieve a first down.
Madama goes in motion. Deland rolls, looking for some room. He's going to keep it and scramble with it. And Sean Smith pulls him down from behind at about the 40-yard line. It'll be 4th down for Edison.
Good pursuit by Sean Smith, who, despite his 235 or 240 pounds, can run.
Snatched him down with one arm.
So the East Brunswick defense comes up again.
And Deland will do the punting as well for Edison. Back is White and Rulo, number 40. Troy White, number 7. Deland gets off a good kick. White will take it. Oh, he'll let it bounce. Now he'll field it at his 25, and it'll be dropped right there.
Rather dangerous chance right there.
Yeah, he would have been best to let that alone. You see Forte coming back into the game. 4 for 6 right now, including that 1 touchdown.
We have 1:18 to go here in the first period. East Brunswick on top, 14-6. I'm John Meggiolaro, being joined by Jim Allinder and Phil Hill. Ball on the East Brunswick 25. DeVito with some hard running, picks up 4 yards.
That's his second carry of the evening. He has 7 yards. Goldstein, the leading carrier, with 19 yards on 3 carries.
I'll tell you, and there's some good blocking on that side by Phil Miller.
Yeah, the offensive line is really starting to pick it up now. I can see that.
Charleston and Feldman split out wide. DeVito and Goldstein in the backfield with Forte. 2nd and 6 for the Bears. Forte, quick turnaround, looks outside for Feldman. Nice catch, makes a move. Feldman drops the ball. Recovered.
Yes, they're going to give it to Edison.
Edison's ball. I thought maybe it went out of bounds, but it didn't.
Unfortunate break there.
I'll tell you, the young receiver made a very fine fake, took a few steps downfield and got stripped of the ball, unfortunately.
So Edison with their second turnover tonight. And they have great field position. The ball is just shy of midfield. They trail 14-6 with 9 seconds to go here in the first period. This should be the last play. And they won't get it off. So at the end of one, it's East Brunswick 14, Edison 6. But Edison has the ball on their own 48-yard line.
I'll tell you, I like to talk about Marcus Borden. Young Feldman came off the field, obviously a little upset that he had fumbled the ball. Marcus Borden went over to him, patted him on the side as if to say, hey, don't worry about it, it's okay.
That's for sure. It's going to be a learning experience for a lot of these guys.
I'll tell you, Marcus Borden puts in an awful lot of time, as all coaches do, working with his youngsters. But, I mean, all summer, and when you do get a chance to talk to him, he likes to talk about football. I happened to see him at a Pop Warner game last Sunday with his little son Colin and his daughter Brittany, who's the cheerleader. And Marcus will talk football anytime. And he puts in a lot of time. And we get very critical at times at things that happen. But you got to have a lot of respect for not just him, but all coaches.
Well, in many ways, Phil, it is a thankless job. They put a lot of hours that most people don't see. And, you know, Marcus Borden obviously takes the credit when they win, or receives the credit when they win, and receives the blame when they lose. But he has an able staff that live and die with him as well.
All right.
So we're about ready to start this second period. Edison with a great opportunity, coming up with a fumble recovery and looking to get back into this ball game. They trail 14-6.
Right, and they can stay in that wishbone, not being behind by a wide score.
Fake. DeLand looking. He's got a man wide open.
My mercy.
And it's going to be a touchdown.
That was
Frank
assignment.
Frank Meggiolaro.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, what the wishbone can do. It can set you up so pretty, looking for the run. And Gary Ryder said he had a few surprises off it, and you just saw one.
One of the few times you'll see a pass, but fortunately for Edison, the quarterback did see the wide open receiver there. It looked like the defensive back for the Bears was simply drawn in back.
Ready to come up. That wishbone will do it to you. You feel you got to come up to stop the run and pop.
And East Brunswick's going to have to do a little homework on defensing the wishbone.
I'll tell you, give Jim DeLand, the quarterback, a lot of credit. He was almost taken down and still was able to see the receiver.
All right, Edison's going to go for 2. Fake the wall. DeLand pitches it out. And they will not get the 2 points.
Sean Smith putting on great pressure again. Nice job, Sean.
So Edison on the board, but they still trail 14-12.
And they hit their tight end, Steve Slavin, 5'10", 185 pounds. He was so wide open, I was afraid. I think I was that wide open, I would drop the ball. Number 90?
Number 80. It was Frank Meggiolaro.
Okay, my mistake. The split end. Well, we said at the top of the game we had some questions about the Bears defense, and then we still have some questions about them.
Well, I think give Gary Reeder some credit for surprising the Bears with the wishbone. I don't think they really had an inkling that this was going to be the case tonight.
All right, Nichols ready to kick it off.
But that's part of the game, Phil.
All right.
Goldstein, White, and Casanelli back deep. I think you'll see the reverse here. Onside kick. Does not go the full 10 yards, though.
I'll tell you.
And East Brunswick should have it right there.
There's one of your surprises, Phil.
I'll tell you, Gary Ryder went for it all, and if the ball was kicked a little bit harder, he would have come up with it because it surprised everybody. East Brunswick line was back off the ball, even though they did make the recovery there.
I question that move, particularly with
well, they didn't make the
a whole half to go yet in most of the second period. But anyway, East Brunswick will have it in great field position. The ball on the Edison 47. 1st and 10. Feldman comes out to the left, Greenberg to the right. Forte dropping straight back, steps up in the pocket, decides to run. He's got some room, he gets a block on the outside.
Look at his running ability.
Forte, he's gonna be knocked out at the 5-yard line.
Just a great run. There you see, we already know about Brian Forte's passing ability, but when you see a run like that, you know, he really turned it on, Phil.
He turned it on. Super speed. He's just a strong, speedy young man. And right, we haven't had many opportunities to see him flat out run like that, but just super.
And a great block from Feldman, number 81, to get Forte around the corner. So the Bears have it 1st and goal on the Edison 5. Look for Potter here if they do put it up in the air. Charleston moved over to the left side now. Forte looking, pumps. He's got Feldman in the corner. It's going to be intercepted. Second interception tonight for Forte.
And perhaps Brian made a mistake throwing that ball. He tried to get rid of it to avoid the sack. And he's a little slow getting up right now, but probably more out of frustration than anything else. Really was throwing it in a crowd, Phil.
Well, I said it early in the game, and I'll say it again. I think Brian has taken too much on his shoulders. I think he feels that he has to do everything. Every pass has to be completed, and that just isn't so. That was a bad pass. Elway the other night threw a bad pass that he wished that he could have taken back, and I'm sure Brian wishes he could have had that one back.
Phil, I'm going to be honest with you, Jimmy. I question that call. 1st and 10 on the 5 and putting the ball up. I don't see a need for it at this point, but anyway, Edison has it on their own 20, 1st and 10. Pitch. This is Madama. And Madama will lose about 2 yards.
And you saw each player, Phil, carrying out a specific assignment on that.
Exactly. I'll tell you, you talk about questioning the call, and we saw 2 questionable could be questionable calls, the onside kick. But I don't think Ryder's call was so very questionable. He realizes the Bears are stronger than they are, and he's going to have to surprise them. If the ball was kicked a little further, he would have recovered that onside kick. So the first one, I'm not so sure. The second one, you may be right, John.
All right, Madama loses 2 yards. Let's call it 2nd and 12. Ball at the Edison 18. And DeLand on a quarterback draw, right up the middle, has got some room.
Boy, does he. Casanelli able to just...
Casanelli pulls him down from behind before DeLand could get to midfield, but it's 1st and 10 for the Eagles.
East Brunswick going to school tonight on the wishbone. Definitely, they're learning just exactly all. I didn't realize there were this many, different things you could do with this offense.
You can do a lot of things, but I tell you, I'm terribly surprised that Edison is doing so many things off it. They're not a Madison Central, and they haven't done the wishbone that long. So to be running it that well, it has me perplexed.
I'll tell you one thing, it's an exciting game. It's making things interesting.
Edison 1st and 10 on their own 47. That's Wall with it. He's got the first down, turns the corner. Down close to the East Brunswick 30.
And East Brunswick wouldn't do bad to call a timeout here and just collect themselves.
And they are, Jimmy. I see Marcus Borden now looking for a timeout.
It seems to be a state of confusion out there. They don't know what's coming at them. Defense might even be tired after 3 consecutive plays here where they got a lot of yardage.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Marcus Borden is true to form when he says he takes one game at a time. It's pretty evident here they haven't used anything that they might use against Madison Central at this time because, and all of us have talked about it, that they have to be prepared to stop the Spartans, but they haven't obviously been looking ahead. Otherwise, we would see some of it reflected right here defensively.
Exactly. Didn't think of it that way, but maybe Marcus will reassess his one-liner there. We'll take one game at a time.
And, I'll tell you, we seem to be being a little tough up here, and it's easy for us to second-guess, but that's all part of football, second-guessing. But you would think that, they've had a whole summer to think about that wishbone, and they know that if they're going to go anywhere in the county or the state, they have to solve the puzzle of the wishbone.
Well, Phil, what can East Brunswick do now, right now? I mean, we'll pick it up, John.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Ball on the East Brunswick 37. They trail 14-12, but they're on the move. DeLand keeping it on the option. and he'll lose 2 yards.
Well, Jimmy, they can't do too much of anything right now, and I think the adjustments have to be made at halftime when the coach can go to a chalkboard and talk to them. But to ask them to do certain things now, you're going to temper some of their exuberance, and that may cause more problems than they have already.
Well, I'll tell you, anyone walking in seeing the score, I'm sure would be surprised at this point. East Brunswick on top, 14-12. But it's been that close of a game. Second down for the Eagles. DeLand keeps, looks, looking for Marchesi again. And just overthrown. I'm sorry, that was Cannon out coming out of the backfield.
Timing play.
Another step and Cannon would have had it. So they're pulling out all the stops, Phil, you're right.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, why? Why in 1970, when whatever it was, when South River was running the wishbone and nobody thought it was the same offense, why so many teams running wishbone now?
Boy, you have me on that one. The answer is on the field. It's working.
Well, I think another thing, too, it's very hard in high school competition to find good quarterbacks. So you may have a young man who's a good runner, and it's more advantageous to go to a wishbone offense and use that skill. Anyway, DeLand has it. He pitches it wide. Ball's on the ground. East Brunswick should have it.
Right. And a recovery for East Brunswick, and you see one of the liabilities
One
of
of the whys of it, John. That's one of the whys because it's a high-risk offense. When you run it the way it should be run, which...
Oh, they say Edison has it. And
boy, that's surprising.
Marigato, the backup quarterback, came up with the fumble. And I don't know where he came from.
And I tell you, to get back to the point, it is a high-risk offense unless you run it like Madison Central does, which is not pitching that much or being very careful when you pitch it.
Anyway, the fumble brings Edison back to the East Brunswick 42. 4th down and about 14, so they'll punt it away. Troy White back deep, and DeLand will do the kicking. Oh, it's a reverse, a fake. Cannon's got it. Cannon cuts back in.
He's going to go
Mercy,
in.
He may go, he will.
Mercy.
A fake punt, and Edison's on the board.
It's shocking. It really
Well,
is.
it certainly is shocking. But I talked to Gary Ryder at the top of the game, and he had a glee in his eye, and he said, we have some surprises. He's pulling out all the stops.
And when you thought that East Brunswick was going to overcome that fast start by Edison, now the Eagles come back and score twice. And really within a 4-minute span.
Cannon on a fake punt goes 42 yards for the score. And already he has over 100 yards rushing. We have 8:14 to go here in the second period. Timeout called Edison. Score is 18-14.
And I'm wondering whether they're going to try for 2 points. Whether it be worth going for the 1 or the 2 on this. It looks to me as that they don't have their kicker out there.
And I tell you, as you look at the Edison team huddled there, some major truths have to be told. The line has some work to do. First of all, offensively, they're not getting good pass blocking, and defensively, everybody's running on them, and that's a problem. And they better solve it quickly.
Well, bottom line, East Brunswick's being outsmarted this half.
There's another issue that we must keep in the back of our minds. That is, East Brunswick cannot afford a second loss.
That's a given.
So you talk about taking one game at a time. You really can't overlook anyone in this conference. I said against Cherokee that they probably can, they're going to have to outscore people. They're going to have to just keep outscoring people until the defense catches up. And I think they certainly have the ability to do that.
Well, that's going to make for a lot of fun to watch, but probably a lot of nerves are going to be shot at the end of this season.
All right, Edison will come out. They're going to go for two. Again in that wishbone offense. DeLand, ball snapped, fumbled. So again, they're unsuccessful with the two-point conversion, and the score will stand 18-14 with 8:14 to go here in the second period.
With all the running and scoring, really the clock hasn't ticked down as fast, so still plenty of time to go. in this first half. I wouldn't be surprised if East Brunswick tries to strike quick, Phil. If anything, just to change the momentum again.
Well, you're probably right. They feel they shouldn't be in this position at this time in the game there, but you may want to, but that may not, isn't necessarily a thing that has to be done.
Well, Forte, having thrown 2 interceptions already, not really having the best of nights.
All right, Nichols to kick it off. Nicholas, rather. Short kick. Goldstein at his 20.
That's Casanelli, John.
I'm sorry, Casanelli. Bulls forward to about the 35. And East Brunswick will take over, 1st and 10.
Brian's had 2 interceptions, but I tell you, when you're used to throwing two of your starters and then all of a sudden they're replaced, it throws you off. And so he's used to them running certain patterns. That's just not happening.
All right, they split Potter wide left this time. 2 receivers to the right. I formation. Goldstein right up the middle. Picks up 6 yards.
Fourth carry for the little running back.
2nd and about 4. Ball at the East Brunswick 43. Edison on top, 18-14. Little delay with Goldstein. Drops the ball.
And I thought he was down.
Let's see what they call. They give it to Edison.
That's surprising.
Well,
it looked like his knee was on the ground when the ball got loose.
We don't have the instant replay, but I thought perhaps the ground may have caused it, Jimmy, and the official didn't see it that way.
And East Brunswick, if ever they have to tighten up, this is the point. They're already down by 4 points. Edison having scored 3 touchdowns on them.
And 4 turnovers tonight.
4th turnover.
All right, again, responsibility falling on the East Brunswick defense. 6:50 to go, 2nd period. Bears trailing 18-14, and Edison is on the East Brunswick 43. DeLand still has it. Looking. He's got a man, but throws wide of Marchese. I'm sorry, Mangishi.
He was open.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Tough ball to catch, too. Wasn't there like the other passes that DeLand has been throwing. But tough that he was open.
John doesn't know if he wants to have Italian food or Chinese food there. I don't know.
My wish is that someday we'll have a game with Smith and Jones. 2nd and 10 for Edison. That's Madama on the carry. Picks up close to 5.
Constantino Duano on that tackle again.
Clock running down to 6:15.
Interesting that they're not throwing to Mark Harmon's side, though. Staying away from him, coming to the near side.
Big 3rd down for Edison. They put Madama in motion. And he moved before the ball, no flag thrown.
Now it's
DeLand keeps it. He's drilled into the ground. Madama broke before the snap of the ball. So that should move Edison back, unless East Brunswick declines the penalty.
And to make the point that the defende wishbone is tough enough, but it's particularly tough for a young player. Again, we saw young not Matt Pazinko. Is it Matt Pazinko? Yeah, young Matt Pazinko going by the ball carrier, but he's just fooled, and it's it's an offense that can fool a veteran team. So for a very young player,
Phil, the wrinkle that Edison has thrown with this wishbone is more passing than we normally see with it. And I think East Brunswick was concentrating on stopping the run, and they've got burned a couple of times.
3rd and 12 now for Edison. The ball at the East Brunswick, 44-yard line. DeLand has it. It's a reverse.
Missed tackle.
Mangishi is dropped for a major loss.
Give credit, though, to number 35, Duano, for keeping his ground. He didn't make the tackle, but slowed up Marghese enough so that the rest of the team came in and did the job.
number 33, Pat Castanelli, in on that tackle there. But that's one of the things about the wishbone, that there's so many things you can do on it that it's fun. They did a reverse to the split in wide receiver there.
Well, you got to like what Edison's trying. I mean, they're here to win. DeLand back to punt. This time it will be a punt. Oh, right off of Cannon's helmet.
Inadvertent as it was, it's still a flag. You're not to touch the ball.
Before the offensive team, receiving team.
So they call, I guess that's an interference call.
One of the more unusual plays we've seen over our careers here.
We've seen some funny stuff.
Ball hitting Cannon right on the helmet.
Yes, that's using your head the wrong way. Let's see how many yards that's going to be marked off.
4:38 to go before halftime.
And I tell you, I think we got to come back to Dave Potter. I haven't seen Edison have the ability really to stop him. So I would keep going with them and march right on down the field until they show me they can stop him.
Well, Phil, they really haven't been giving him any special attention, as you would think they would, with him being a primary receiver tonight.
Penalty marked off 15 yards, so gives East Brunswick good field position at their own 42-yard line. That's where they'll have it, 1st and 10. They trail 18-14.
Looks like Edison wants a timeout here.
And Gary Ryder on the field pointing to something to the officials.
Well, that timeout was called by the coach purposely so that he could talk about whatever he's talking about right now. He seems to be pleading his case, pointing in the direction of the East Brunswick team.
I believe he's questioning the mark off of the 15 yards.
That's right. He didn't quite understand why it would be a 15-yard penalty. Well, no doubt he's excited. I'm not sure he was expecting to be on top this late in the first half.
I don't think anyone was expecting Edison to be on top.
I wonder how many new tricks he can pull tonight off this wishbone offense. So a more or less a wasted timeout just to receive an explanation.
Well, may have been a psychological timeout.
All right, when East Brunswick comes over the ball, they'll have Feldman wide left and Greenberg out to the right. And we're about ready to go. Forte fakes, keeps, looks, getting some pressure, gets away from one tackler, a second, gets a nice block. Still on his feet, and finally dropped. And he'll lose a couple yards.
Edison putting on a nice rush there. Brian had ideas of going to the right side there. Feldman was streaking up the right side, but he really didn't get enough time to set, and that was primarily due to a nice rush.
All right, 2nd down for the Bears, 13 as Forte lost 3 yards. Ball now on the East Brunswick 39, clock running, 3:35 to go here before halftime. Quick pitch to the left side, Goldstein, short side, goes out of bounds at around the 45-yard line.
Well, he picks up about 6 yards. Still 7 yards to go for the first down.
And we're in an obvious passing situation here.
Feldman and Greenberg wide right. They split Potter out now to the left. Now bring him back in. Forte drop, now rolls to his right, looking. Men are covered, he's gonna keep it. And he just goes across for the first down.
Seemed like Brian did not even want to set up in the pocket, Phil.
I'll tell you, it's apparent to me that he doesn't seem to have the, and I guess he shouldn't have the confidence in the receivers that are out there. I don't think he's given them enough respect and that he's really looking for them long enough. He looks like he's, and he's not really panicking, but he's taking off sooner than he should.
1st and 10 for the Bears in Edison territory. Edison 47. Inside of 3 minutes now. Second period. East Brunswick trails 18-14. Forte looking. Quick little out to Charleston.
Should try to get out of bounds.
And Charleston does go out of bounds as he crosses the Edison 35-yard line. One thing I'm noticing, Phil and Jimmy, is that Edison is playing most of their players 2 ways. We'll see if that has any effect on these young men.
Yes, it
come
could.
Fourth quarter. But when you're winning, you feel good, and
That's
Edison's
right.
on top.
Adrenaline gets flowing.
That's Charleston's first catch, isn't it?
Second.
Second, yeah.
Okay.
Greenberg, Feldman, wide right. Goldstein, nice hole. First down, East Brunswick.
Just a fine bit of running. He didn't really have all that much room, but just sort of dipped his left shoulder and was able to squeeze through.
Well, I may have called a little too soon. They're going to bring out the chains.
I don't.
No, they're going to give it to him.
It looks like it is.
2:38 to go. East Brunswick trailing 18-14, but are on the move. Ball spotted at the Edison 24. They put Charleston wide right. Feldman to the left in a slot position. DeVito, Goldstein in the backfield. Forte looking. Now decides to throw long for Feldman. And overthrown. And I think Feldman got away with a little push there in the end zone.
I was just going to say that. I was going to analyze that for a second and see what the referee was going to do. But, yeah, he sort of shoved him a little bit. If that was catchable, perhaps you would have seen a flag.
2nd and 10 for the Bears. That stops the clock at 2:14. Potter and Feldman now to the left. Greenberg to the right. Little counter move with DeVito. DeVito puts his head down.
Looks like it's good for a first down.
No, he'll be short of the first down, Jim.
Okay.
3rd and about 1, let's call it.
And I'll tell you, that's Joey DeVito's nature, just to put his head down.
No, you're right, Jim. He does have the first down. Sorry, Phil.
To pick up that all-important first down. But I'll tell you, if he keeps his head up a little bit more and sidesteps, he's going to have that touchdown.
Clock running. East Brunswick can pick up a first down without scoring. Down to 150. They come out with Sean Smith in the backfield.
Oh, my gosh.
And they give it to Goldstein behind Smith. Goldstein just short of the 5-yard line.
Well, that's East Brunswick's new twist tonight.
Well,
That's the William Perry version.
and Sean Smith did his job on there. He blew his man out in order for Goldstein to run through. So
Clock's still going.
He actually functioned like a big fullback out on the wing.
East Brunswick, I believe, has 2 timeouts left.
Ball short of the 5. 2 men wide right for East Brunswick. Pitch, Goldstein short side. He's going to be dragged out of bounds, and he'll lose a yard. But that'll stop the clock at 1:05.
Well, you have a number of options here. You can do what Forte likes to do, and that's roll out and look for an open receiver, flood the zone.
I tell you, that area screams for a cross buck with Joey DeVito, but Edison's part of the strength is that they're big linemen in there, so they may come up with something else.
Potter split to the left. I formation. Feldman and Charleston to the right. Ball on the Edison 7-yard line. Goldstein, nice hole. Goldstein, is he close? He's in. Dave Goldstein with his second score of the night from 7 yards out.
That was one of the options, and all in all, I thought it was a good call that time.
And he seems to be shaken up a little bit.
Well, he had the wind knocked out of him, it looks, but he's a tough little guy.
He is.
So with 59 seconds left, Goldstein punches it over to give East Brunswick now the lead, 20-18. Dan Levine will try to make it 21.
David taking a couple of deep breaths. And I think it's just one of these temporary injuries. Nothing like a leg or anything like that. And once again, we'll have an opportunity to watch Danny Levine try the point after. He has good form, Phil.
He has excellent form. He's very disciplined.
Greenberg will hold. Good snap, and the kick is through. And so East Brunswick increases their lead by 3, 21-18 with 59 seconds to go here in the second period.
A rather exciting first half, if you will, but not the type of excitement that East Brunswick had wanted. You had mentioned, Phil, that the wishbone is something that you try to practice for, try to defend against. What can you do in the space of 15 minutes as a coach to make adjustments here?
There are some things they can do to make adjustments, and they should be pretty well prepared for them. The basic thing is to make sure your team understands what has to be done. I think, and to go back, what's been wrong with the Bears this year is it's not a lack of direction and whatnots, but it's a lack of actually coming through with the assignments. And I think that's what's probably driving their coaches crazy. They're telling them what they should do, but the kids are either missing blocks or they're just not doing their assignments. And a big part of the game is doing what is assigned to you.
All right, Levine getting ready to kick it off.
He'll try to put it in the end zone.
High kick, short. This will be DeLand at about the 17-yard line. Crosses the 25.
Well, he does everything, doesn't he? Run back kicks. Well, Levine didn't look like he got all that one.
54 seconds for Edison to work with before halftime. Clock is running. Been an unusual game. Been much of a surprise for many of us.
But it's great high school football.
Unofficially, I have Brian Forte 6 completions and 9 attempts for 85 yards, including that 1 touchdown.
Madama in motion. And DeLand's gonna put it up. Throws it for Madama and throws it on the opposite side of him. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 26 seconds.
Looks like the receiver was going in, and the quarterback had other ideas about an outside curl.
Second and 10 for Edison. Whoa, Cannon bobbling the ball.
And with 20 seconds, it appears that East Brunswick is willing to let the clock run down. Could be the last play of the half, John.
Down to 7 seconds now. And that'll be it here at first half. East Brunswick High School, the Bears on top, 21-18. In a surprising game thus far. A lot of excitement, a lot of action.
Well, I mentioned, you say surprising. I said before, I was a little shocked that Edison was able to move as well as it did in that first half.
Phil, any thoughts?
They're going to have to keep scoring. As I said, I think until they show us differently, they're going to have to outscore teams. And again, they have the ability, but it makes for a long season.
All right, you see East Brunswick lining up under the goalpost. They'll be going into the locker room. We'll be back with the second half action in just a moment, but we ask that you stay tuned and watch the East Brunswick High School Marching Band. All right, welcome back for the second half of this East Brunswick Edison game. You see the scoreboard, the Bears on top 21-18. Teams just coming out of the locker room, stretching on the sidelines.
Surprising score, no doubt.
What do you think East Brunswick's going to do to combat that wishbone?
Phil, go
Well,
ahead.
I don't know. I'm sure they made some adjustments. I don't know if adjustment can be made for young high school players at halftime in order to stop the wishbone. I assume that they knew Edison was coming in here with the wishbone, and whatever they were going to do, they were going to do at that time. There may be some minor adjustments, but I don't think you'll see any wholesale adjustments because that will just confuse the youngsters at this time.
Jimmy, you have some stats for us.
Yeah, despite all the defensive problems, not having too bad of an offensive half, putting 21 points on the board, and easily could have pushed across another touchdown if it hadn't been for that interception. One of two that Brian Forte has had in the first half, in addition to 2 other turnovers for a total of 4. But let's see, East Brunswick had 11 first downs with a net rushing yardage of 139. A lot of those yards coming on 2 Brian Forte runs, one of 25 and another of 42 yards. Passing yardage, Brian was officially 6 for 12 we have here for 104 yards, including that 1 touchdown pass that was thrown to Warren Greenberg. And that's about the most notable stats in that area. Rushing department, Dave Goldstein, 11 attempts for 56 yards, and he gets 2 touchdowns that half. DeVito, 3 carries for 18 yards, and as we had mentioned, Brian Forte, 5 carries for 65 yards with that long gainer of 42, and with the defense, with some losses, with Brian being sacked, it probably was even more yards than that.
Okay, thank you, James. We're about ready to start off this second half.
I didn't catch who was going to be receiving on this.
I would imagine it's going to be Edison since East Brunswick received to start the game.
Good enough.
And Dan Levine's out there, so East Brunswick will be moving left to right to start this third period. On top, 21-18. Very much a surprise for most of us. Edison coming in with a very young, inexperienced team, coming off a big loss to JFK, and they've been in this ball game. In fact, they had the lead up until just before halftime. DeLand will go back deep for Edison, along with Cannon, number 22. DeLand is 14. See if Levine can put one in the end zone.
Hasn't been doing it tonight.
And here we go, third period underway. Good kick. This will be DeLand at the 10. He drops the ball. Cannon rather. And it goes right up the middle. And close to the 30-yard line.
Bears had an opportunity to put Edison deep in its own territory, but DeLand was able to wiggle his way through for about 15 yards on that.
And I tell you, it gives you some idea that Coach Gary Ryder is pulling out all the stops in order to win this game. He's got his quarterback, his starting quarterback, back there on the kickoff receiving team. So that tells you something. He's using the best athletes.
All right, Edison again comes out with that wishbone offense.
See if we see anything different defensively.
DeLand, 14, the quarterback, fakes it. No, he gives it to Wall, Tom Wall, the fullback. Wall picks up 3.
Nothing fancy there. I think the true test is going to come when DeLand starts to run wide and has the option. See if the discipline is there.
Call it second and about 7. Ball on the Edison 31. DeLand still has it, pitches back to Cannon. Cannon turns the corner, gets up to the 35, and a flag is thrown.
Oh gosh. Sean Smith had a chance to lasso the runner, but was just a little late.
And Pat Castanelli finally making the tackle, but we have a flag.
Holding against Edison.
And I suppose East Brunswick would accept this.
Push them back, way back. Remember that?
It's before my time.
Yeah, that's a cheer.
East Brunswick accepts the penalty, move the ball to the Edison 21-yard line. Second and about 19 now for the Eagles. They trail 21-18 as we start this third period. Timeout. Officials, timeout East Brunswick.
East Brunswick.
Wow, one man short.
That's it.
One man short. You hate to use the timeout like that, and you have to wonder how you could forget you're supposed to be out there defensively.
It's been happening with alarming frequency. This is not the first time this has happened, and football game is as much mental, if anything else, and you really just have to know what's going on at all times. You cannot relax.
So we'll see how important this timeout is. 10:57 to go in the third period. In fact, we've just started the third period. Edison will have a 2nd and 19 on their own 21. And this is where the wishbone really is tested, Phil, when you have that long yardage. It's not a passing offense, obviously. And so when you get in trouble through penalties, or when you have situations of 8 or more yards, it becomes difficult.
If you're really proficient, you can do anything off it, though, and maybe pick it up from the dive to the pitch to passing.
Well, what's been unique about this wishbone tonight is there's been an inordinately large number of passes thrown.
Adama in motion. DeLand rolls to his left, looking. Still has it, and he's going to be dragged down at about the 23, so he'll pick up maybe 2 yards.
And that was played well.
I'll tell you, the young sophomore, Matt Pazinko, coming in, making a very fair tackle.
And Clark is limping, number 56 for East Brunswick. Nose guard on defense.
More importantly, center on offense.
And it looks like he's going to come out.
Big third down now for Edison. Third and about 17 to go. Cannon goes in motion. DeLand drops straight back, being pressured. Rolls to his right, gets the pass off, incomplete.
Right, initially Tom Jehankins was able to put pressure on, but who was that? That 59, I believe, for East Brunswick was actually able to get to the quarterback?
Right.
Okay.
69.
Okay, 69. So that's Scott Brunette we mentioned, right? Okay, and he was the one that actually was able to disrupt that play.
So Edison will be forced to punt. 4th down. Back for East Brunswick, number 42. That's Mike Pilato.
Right, he's a sophomore.
And Troy White.
Haven't seen too much of him, but I understand he's got quite a lot of promise.
Off the side of the foot of DeLand. The ball will roll around just on the East Brunswick side of midfield, and that's where they'll start off this third period.
Excellent field position.
Okay, good to see Dave Clark running out there on offense. You don't want to have a change in center at this time of the game.
Right, good to see the East Brunswick defense rise to the occasion in that first series.
All right, East Brunswick, 1st and 10 on their own 48. Feldman and Greenberg, wide right. I formation. Forte on a draw to Goldstein.
Pretty.
Flag thrown. Goldstein picks up 8 yards.
That's in holding territory there.
Certainly is.
And it will be holding against the Bears.
Well, it had to be pretty obvious. The official on the far side there threw that flag about 10 yards. He wasn't in the greatest of positions to make that call. So that's going to force the Bears back, John.
10 yards. Bring it back to the East Brunswick 39-yard line. 1st and 20.
And that almost makes it a certainty that Brian Forte is going to throw.
Charleston and Feldman to the right. Split backfield. DeVito with the handoff. Gets maybe a yard.
The element of surprise.
Yeah, it really was.
They'll give DeVito a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 19. Ball on the East Brunswick 41. 8:40 to go here in the 3rd period. East Brunswick holding on to a 3-point lead, 21-18. And Forte rolls to his right. Looking deep. Throws it off to DeVito, short underneath.
Well, they get it back about 15 yards of the 20 required, so it's going to be about a 6 yards remaining for the first down, John.
And a nice tackle for the Edison player there, Marlo Fitzgerald, number 35.
So 3rd down and 5 for the Bears. The ball now in Edison territory, just short of the 45-yard line. Reverse. This is Feldman. Looking for a block inside. Won't get it.
No, that play didn't look like it was going to be developing from the beginning. The route was not run properly. It doesn't look like Feldman dropped back deep enough, so he wasn't able to get a good angle. And Edison had enough time to react.
Not to be critical, but you have Dave Potter, who's been open 2-3 times tonight for big gains. You have 5 yards to go. Why run a reverse?
The element of surprise, as Phil had talked about.
It's a very fair question.
Well, Forte will drop back to punt. Good snap. Beautiful kick, high. DeLand is back. He'll let it bounce.
Beautiful punt.
And that ball will go out at about the 3-yard line.
Great punt. First time East Brunswick has had to punt this evening, and that's a weapon that the Bears could use, Brian's punting ability. Not only does he get distance on that, but he just seems to have an uncanny ability to be able to put it where he wants to.
So Edison deep in their own territory. They're in a hole.
And I'll tell you, the Bears defense has to make something happen right here. They have been in a hole. They got to at least come out of this with good field position, perhaps even a turnover here. But they can't let Edison get anything going from here. It's a good opportunity to assert themselves.
Edison will operate from their own 3-yard line. This is Wall, fullback. He'll pick up about 3 yards.
That fullback must be hit regardless whether he has the ball or not. There's a dive there, and there's a hole large enough for a Mack truck to go through. That fullback has to be hit regardless. That's what starts everything, and if you jam him up, you perhaps confuse them. But if he can go, forget it.
2nd and 7 for the Eagles. Ball at their own 6-yard line. Madama, he's hit right at the line of scrimmage.
That was a good hit. And 55.
Mark Rulo and Troy White.
Mark Rulo came back last week in the Cerevel game, and it's good to see him back in there. I think he's going to certainly lend some stability to this defensive team. I think he's just now rounding into form, and once he gets into form, he's going to be
He'll be a valuable member.
Exactly.
No gain on the play, 3rd and 7.
Certainly somebody that East Brunswick defense can use.
All right.
Do you put it up here deep in your own territory?
We'll let Edison answer that, John.
East Brunswick's playing rather tight if they chose to.
DeLand on a little counter move to Cannon. Cuts up fields, got the first down. So they get out of the hole. More importantly, they keep possession.
I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with Gary Ryder's diversity.
Yeah, he really has a nice
right,
approach.
Not so much the play selection, but the diversity that he has, and that's what makes football fun, when you can do a lot of different things.
Well, East Brunswick was probably guessing something more out of the traditional wishbone. That didn't seem to be just a counter to the right side.
Official timeout. I think one of the Edison players has some equipment problem. They're working on it.
Boy, East Brunswick had an excellent opportunity to stop Edison deep in their own territory. Let that one go.
All right, Edison will have it 1st and 10 at their own 16. 5 minutes to go here in the third period. 21-18, Bears on top. DeLand fakes, keeps. He's got a man, and he's going to be dropped for a loss.
Scott Brunot.
Yeah, he's been in there all evening.
He's been playing a heck of a game today.
Yeah.
He certainly has.
Seems to be the most outstanding on the line there for the Bears defensively.
The loss will move the ball inside the 10-yard line now. So Edison again in trouble. 2nd and 17 when they come out of the huddle. Manama in motion. DeLand straight back. Being pressured.
Caught.
He's going to be dropped. Mike Hack, 63.
Hackman.
Well, East Brunswick was not getting this type of pressure in the first half, and they've obviously made some adjustments to at least put more pressure on the quarterback.
Well,
ball resting at the Edison 3-yard line. This is where the drive started. Third down and 25. And they'll come out with that wishbone offense again. This time they'll put Manama in motion.
This looks pass here.
DeLand, a quick pitch.
Ooh.
To Wall.
That's
a safety.
It is called. No.
No, they're saying he's right at about the 1-foot line.
We all yelled safety in unison here. We thought it was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
So that means DeLand will be punting from his end zone.
Right, and he will not have the traditional drop back of, I believe, yeah, he'll only have 7 yards or so.
I'll tell you, I didn't see who the East Brunswick players were. One of them was Scott Brunati again, however, and he's just playing a heck of a game.
Yeah, this was an excellent defensive. As a matter of fact, the entire defensive, both series that Edison has had the ball has been excellent defense for East Brunswick.
Pilato and White are back deep. DeLand, if he steps out, it's a safety.
Could see a rush here.
Good snap, gets it off. Wobbly kick. White's gonna let it bounce. Pilato will pick it up, they reverse it. Looking for the wall.
Oh.
Troy White gets to the outside and is tackled.
And, you know, you look for flags. There I thought one should have been thrown. I thought number 50 for East Brunswick, Matt Pazinko, made an obvious clip, pushed him from behind, and allowed the runner to get more yardage.
I've been talking about discipline all day. Here's the time when perhaps they shouldn't have used their discipline. They went with the play, which was the reverse ball, but perhaps Troy White should have picked it up earlier and just took off.
All right, East Brunswick, 1st and 10 on the Edison 32. They come out I formation. 2 receivers wide left. Forte on that little draw with Goldstein. And Goldstein brings it down close to the 20, 1st down. .154 to go here in the third period. East Brunswick looking to increase their lead. They're on top, 21-18.
Boy, Dave Goldstein, the workhorse running back tonight. That's his 12th carry.
Charleston wide right. Feldman wide left. Little counter with Goldstein inside. Goldstein will pick up 2.
Didn't have a lot of room to run, but it appears, Phil, that East Brunswick is starting to win the battle on the line. They really surged forward, and Goldstein picked up about 3 yards, really, when there wasn't any hole.
Well, it may be what John talked about earlier. The Edison players going both ways, and it may be catching up with them.
2nd and 8, ball on the Edison 18. Looked like someone jumped, no flag. DeVito on the carry, close to the 15. He'll be spotted on the 16. Picks up maybe a yard.
Well, this is, as you alluded to before, John, an excellent situation for Dave Potter to be a primary target.
Charleston and Greenberg wide right. Forte looking, looks underneath to DeVito.
He's going to
short
be
of the first down.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Levine comes out for the field goal or if they'll go for it. And as John Madden says, if you're not going to get the first down yardage, don't even
You're right. You
run
hate
the
to be,
play.
You hate to be so critical all the time, but you're right. It's clearly there. You got to get that first down.
They're going to go for it. 4th and about 2 from the Edison 12-yard line.
That's the quarter.
And that'll be it for the 3rd period.
Well, if you want to look at some positives in that quarter, certainly the defense was aroused. Whatever adjustments they did make, I know for one thing, the defensive line was getting some excellent penetration. The quarterback for Edison was not having the same sort of freedom that he had in the first half. Offensively, though, they've seemed to slow down. It's very true that East Brunswick has not had a lot of opportunities this half.
I think the other thing, too, is Edison's been in a hole, so they haven't had an opportunity to try any real trick plays and just play a very conservative wishbone type of attack. And East Brunswick's knocking on the door, 21-18 here as we start the 4th period. And you see the East Brunswick High School varsity cheerleaders, new sweaters for the season.
They look good.
They do. Of course, we're somewhat partial, Bill and I.
John has a daughter that's a cheerleader, so.
As does Phil.
And we see the fans starting to get a little bit excited.
Good crowd on hand tonight.
You know, when you have a quarterback of Brian Forte's ability, I think that's going to draw a lot of people anyway. So a lot of them are coming out here, not necessarily from East Brunswick Township, but from surrounding communities. We see a lot of members of other teams. They want to get a look at this East Brunswick club.
Mike Hack going up and down the sidelines, waving a towel, trying to get this crowd into it.
A la Phil McConkney.
4th and 2 for the Bears. Forte keeps it. It's a bootleg. He's got the first down.
Yeah, he made it. It was a good fake. Could have gone to the inside, but saw a little daylight and did it on his own.
That's all on his ability, his own ability. You're right. A lesser quarterback would have been stopped.
First down, Bears.
Important 6 points here for East Brunswick. They do not have a touchdown margin. And I'm sure they want to get this one in now.
Ball spotted on the Edison 7. 1st and goal. Feldman and Greenberg wide left. High formation. Goldstein, right side, turns the corner. He'll pick up a couple yards.
Yeah, I didn't think he had anything on that, but he was able to squirt through. He has deceptive speed. He really does. And in addition to that nice slicing ability inside, he seems to be able to find some light where there isn't any.
And he was slammed down by DeLand, who was playing cornerback on that side there.
Ball spotted at the Edison 4-yard line. 2nd and goal. Charleston and Feldman now to the left. Forte, quarterback sneak. Short of the goal line.
Well, that's an improvement. The last time he tried that play in that area there, Dave Clark ended up with 6 points.
Dave Clark's the center. Third and about, let's call it 2. I look for DeVito this time. Although they come in I formation, and they got Sean Smith in the backfield, so it'll be Goldstein following Smith, I would think. And it is Goldstein. Is he in? Where's the mark? We haven't seen a call yet.
Did I see an official start to raise his hands, and then he just brought him back down?
Goldstein looking for his 3rd touchdown tonight will be denied.
Well, I'll tell you why he didn't get in it. He had a bump in with Joey DeVito coming out of the backfield there. Sean Smith was there to block, and Goldstein was slowed down by bumping into Joey DeVito trying to get to the goal line.
East Brunswick will call a timeout. They want to talk this over. It's 4th and about 6 inches.
Very important play here, no doubt, and they want to take their time. Want to get that margin up to greater than 1 touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you, Marcus Borden is out there right now, and he's just telling them, hey, listen, we got to execute. He's picking a play. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Forte keeps it himself. He's strong enough to bull it over, so
and he's got Dave Clark in front of him, too.
Exactly, so just take it in. And you wonder why, you see Marcus out there, why he's out there so long. He's not just probably talking about that play.
And John Pressman, senior, I mean, he's really coming in.
That's the first for me.
You don't see him on your camera, but John Pressman's running in front of the cheerleaders, trying to exhort the fans on. Here we go. 4th and inches for the Bears.
Big play.
It's DeVito, and he's going to be stopped short.
Straight, very predictable off-tackle dive.
And Edison, that's got to be a boost for Edison. In fact, DeVito lost yardage.
Well, we had thought that East Brunswick was winning the war on the offensive line, but that showed you right there that Edison is not about ready to give up.
So Edison will take over, 21-18. They trail by 3 with 10-11 to go. The ball resting on their own 2-yard line. They were in this position just a few moments ago. Staying in that wishbone. DeLand has it. And he may get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
He's tackled by a host of East Brunswick tacklers.
Let's call it second and 10. I don't think they gave DeLand any movement on the ball. Phil, this may be wild, but I'm waiting for a little halfback option at some point.
You may get it.
DeLand a wall, I believe.
Right, Hack was there to make that tackle.
So the East Brunswick defense doing their part.
And I'll tell you, we may not be astute enough to pick up whatever's happened, but apparently they have made some adjustments all through the third period and beginning here. Granted that Edison has had their backs to the wall to the goal line when they've been stopped, but nevertheless they've been stopped.
They gave Wall a yard. It's 3rd and 9. The ball on the Edison 3-yard line. DeLand calling signals, now moving Marigato over. And he's going to keep it. Tries to throw it out for Madama, incomplete, 4th down.
And I'll tell you who had a lot to do with making that play. Matt Pazinko, linebacker, was right in DeLand's eyes And the quarterback was not able to get off a good pass.
So for the second series in a row, the defense has been able to hold. And they seem to can do it as long as they have the Edison Eagles with their backs to the end zone. Very close to the end zone.
Pilato and White are back waiting for DeLand's punt. Again, he has to be careful of not picking up a safety. He's got to stay within the end zone. Good snap. Gets off a good kick. Troy White falls. It's going to be down right there.
Seemed to be a little confusion, indecision between Troy White and Pilato, like who wanted to catch the ball.
East Brunswick will have it, though, at the Edison 35.
I was noticing that on the last punt, too. There seemed to be some indecision,
Well,
and it ended up the ball bouncing.
Well, as you pointed out, Pilato's a sophomore. He's new there, and it's bound to happen.
Well, let's see if East Brunswick goes to the air this time.
All right, Greenberg wide left, Feldman to the right. 1st and 10 Bears. Forte, a little quick look into Feldman. And it'll pick up 8 yards. Well, let's say 6 yards. Call it 2nd and 4.
It's only Brian's 3rd completion of this half.
Ball on the Edison 28-yard line. Charleston now out to the left. Forte fumbles it, picks it up, slips a little bit, throws it for Charleston. He's got it, taken out of bounds near the 20, just short.
Yeah, he's got a 1st down there.
Charleston showing good hands there. A very difficult pass for Forte. A lot farther than you might think.
But it'll be a 1st down for East Brunswick, 1st and 10. Ball on the Edison 22. Feldman now to the left, Greenberg to the right. DeVito gets outside, knocks over an Edison tackler.
Looks like a 1st down.
Could be close. They're going to bring the chains across. Joe DeVito likes to run over people.
He does.
Shortest distance straight line is just running straight ahead. He doesn't want to go around anybody. Tough little player.
Well, they'll stretch the chains now. Second down, just short. By the nose of a football.
Just short.
Don't be surprised if Brian Forte gives up a play here and tries to go put something in the end zone by a pass here. They can always come back and pick up the 1st down.
Yeah, I agree with you, Phil. In this situation, that might not be a bad call.
Ball on the Edison 12, 2nd and a yard. Forte puts it up in the air, throws it short of Charleston.
A little low.
3rd now.
And Forte took the snap from there, rolled around, spun around, and just flicked his wrist and put it out there. That is something he's used to doing with his primary receivers. His regular receivers aren't in there, and the timing was just off. He came up short.
Feldman to the left, Greenberg to the right. Split backfield of DeVito and Goldstein. DeVito hit right at the line.
Well, I think he
may have lost a yard.
Well, yeah, they're moving the yard marker back.
4th down. We'll see what East Brunswick chooses to do. 4th and almost 2 now.
Well, I'll tell you what, give Edison a lot of credit. They haven't folded one bit.
Those defensive linemen have done a fine job in the crucial situations. that was a big time to stop the Bears, and they did. And here we come again.
So another 4th down, 4th and let's call it about 1.5 yards.
And you got to believe that Brian's going to pass off this again. They haven't had any luck picking up a yard in 2 very crucial series.
He may just keep it, Phil, and go right up. Take it himself. We'll see. Well, he's going to pass for it. Rolling, being pressured now. He should throw it away. He tries, he throws it in the hands of an Edison lineman, intercepted.
It is.
And Edison will have it at their own 40-yard line.
Boy, whatever you wanted to go wrong with that play, actually did.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. Brian Forte does not have to do everything, but I think the young man feels he has to just to make things happen, and he shouldn't have to feel that way. And he's just taking some awful chances, and twice he's had to pay for them.
For the record, that's the 3rd interception that Forte has thrown tonight.
All right, Edison with good field position. Their own 39, 1st and 10. Let's see if they try some sparkle now. First time they've been out of the shadow of their own end zone. That's Wall. Wall loses maybe 1 yard.
And again, whatever adjustments the Bears made at halftime, they've been very good adjustments because defensively, they have been tough.
And I'm watching Brian Forte down on the sidelines. He's a little disturbed at himself.
Edison loses 1 yard. It's 2nd and 11 now at their own 38. We have 5:30 to go in the game. East Brunswick with a slim 3-point lead. There's the pitch. Cannon.
That's Greg Rulo.
He's still on his feet.
No,
no
he's
whistle.
down.
Oh, they blew it. All right.
Nice shoestring tackle by Mark Rulo coming up. Greg Rulo, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was an important play, too, now. As Edison loses on that play, and it really forces them into a predictable situation. Not too many fancy things you can do in the wishbone situation.
3rd down and 13. Ball now at the Edison 35. Clock is running, 4:45 left in the game. DeLand fakes, pressure, it's gonna be sacked.
And it's our favorite player tonight.
He's just been super. We've said it time and time again. He's been very aggressive, and it's paid off for the Bears.
Well, they used to have an award called a Hit of the Week. I don't know if Scott Burnett's going to get a Hit of the Week, but he certainly has had enough of them.
And he's not a huge guy, Jimmy. He's 5'9", 165 pounds, but he is tough.
Very aggressive.
Well, he deserves a game ball, that's for sure. 4:10, clock running. Pilato and White back. DeLand on the punt.
Edison will probably play it safe here. I don't think there are going to be any trick plays.
From their own 30, high snap. DeLand pulls it down, almost blocked by DeVito. Pilato let it go. White now will pick it up. And knocked out of bounds as he crosses the 40 is Troy White.
2 nice blocks there. Excuse me, 2 nice blocks. Able to spring White for a couple extra yards.
I tell you, Mike Pilati, the sophomore, scared me. He looked very much like a sophomore there, and I guess he's entitled, but if you're not going to catch that ball, get away from it.
All right, East Brunswick once again takes possession.
And I don't think the Bears can play conservatively here. I think they have to go for the points.
Ball at their own 42, 3:49 left in the game. Feldman and Greenberg wide right. Forte, delay draw to Goldstein, and he's going to lose about 3 yards.
Well, we had alluded to the fact that Ramon Trent and Joe Giroux were being missed tonight, but maybe more so than we even imagined. Brian Forte has worked all summer with 2 of those 3 guys, and he just doesn't have any rhythm.
All right, East Brunswick, 2nd down. Forte overthrows DeVito. He had Feldman open as well.
catchable ball, but still, it just was not there.
Well, it was there, Jimmy, but it's not the typical soft and controlled touch pass that we're used to seeing from Brian in that situation.
3rd and 11.
Important play here.
Forte straight back, looks like a screen. It is. DeVito.
It's set up nice.
DeVito hit and knocked out of bounds short of the first down, so Edison will get the ball back.
And Joey is down, and he's clutching his his left ankle.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's been playing on a bad ankle to begin with.
Joey DeVito's had a history of having a hairline fracture in his ankle that seemingly just can't be fixed, and he's played with it for a number of years, and we hope it's not very serious right now.
All right, from the 47, their own 47, Forte will punt. DeLand is back, high snap. Flag is down. DeLand will call a fair catch.
Ooh.
Drops the ball. East Brunswick's got it.
Recovers.
We'll see what the flag's all about.
Illegal procedure against the Bears.
Procedure against East Brunswick.
Mercy.
Edison gets a new life.
I don't know who recovered it. Was it Pazinko? Number 50? But it'll come back.
Just a tremendous punt by Brian Forte. Very high, about 40 yards in the air.
Well, looking back to Joe DeVito on the sidelines, he wants to go back in. He's up and he's going in. And that injury is kind of like a chronic thing with him. He experiences a lot of pain, but he wants to play right through it.
Procedure marked off against East Brunswick. Ball now at their own 42-yard line. Forte again will punt.
Matt Pazinko, the snapper.
2:57 left in the game. Forte kicks one over DeLand's head.
Line drive.
Oh, mercy. Oh!
And the ball is marked at about the,
on the 1
6-inch line.
Oh!
Well, you can't say too much more about that. You can't ask for a better punt. I'm sure Brian Forte is not feeling terrific tonight, but that ought to lift his feelings.
I'll tell you, Troy White and Dan Levine collaborating on that play there. The officials are talking it over right now, and I don't know if they're going to bring it out or what.
No, first down, Phil.
Just a great play by the Jesse James gang there. Great punt by Brian Forte, and you saw what happened. Well, gentlemen, there's nothing else to say, but it's gut check time right now. They have to stop him, and
right. You wonder what kind of trick plays that Edison may have left.
I don't know if there are any when you're on the 1-foot line.
Got to score.
All right, Edison comes out. The ball is officially marked at the 1, 1st and 10. And that's, I believe it's Baird. Tom Baird, number 21.
good hard running.
Pick up of 5 yards.
Got a timeout here?
Yes, we do.
Oh, boy. I don't think we expected this, did we, gentlemen?
No, we didn't, but I tell you what, let's give the Bears some credit right now. This whole second half, they certainly have held the Edison Eagles in check. They can hold them one more series of downs in check, and the game is theirs. Again, we've been very critical of, in the first half, of the coaches not making the proper adjustments, but apparently they did go in halftime and do what they had to do, and they've done a fine job the second half defensively.
Yeah, that was going to be my observation, Phil. I think that the Bears had an opportunity to go to school on the wishbone, probably a little earlier than they had hoped. Yet, you know, that we all recognize that they do have some fine natural ability out there in those individual players, a lot of good quality players, and they're making the adjustments, and they're bending, but stiffening when they have to.
All right, 2nd and 5 for Edison. The ball at their own 5-yard line. 2:14 remaining in the game. Edison now comes out in a split backfield. 2 receivers wide. DeLand from his end zone. Looking, running out.
Ooh!
And he'll pick up maybe a yard.
And who made that tackle? 69, Scott Brunette.
We've called him Scott Brunette, Scott Brunati, or Scott Brunat. We don't know what his name is, but he's playing a great game. Just a great game.
And probably the most important play of the game right here. 3rd and about 4, John.
Clock is running down to 1:40. Edison needs a first down to keep this drive alive. They trail 21-18. And it may be a case of Edison winning the battle but losing the war. Back to the split back offense. DeLand looking to throw. Looking for his tight end.
Dropped.
Right through the arms of number 90, Steve Slavin.
They had it.
That would have been first down.
So what do you do here?
4th and 4.
You call timeout and ask for help from your coach.
It seems that Edison
And
has
they will, Phil.
Yeah, they don't have any other choice but to go for this. Minute 20 left, John. It seems unlikely that they're going to be able to get the ball back after this. So I don't know, what kind of options do you have on? I guess you call a pass play here.
I tell you, it's a tough situation all the way around. You tended to say, hey, don't let them beat you with the big play, but then again, they only need 4 yards to pick up that all-important first down. So you want to actually play tight on one hand, and yet you perhaps need to play a little bit loose so you don't get beat with the very big play. I think the big play now is picking up 5 yards, and that's what they got to be prepared to stop.
Well, I guess if you have an option, you give them the first down. They'll have a minute 20 with only 1 timeout left, I believe. Still having to cover, you know, some 80 yards. And they're not a very good passing team. So I would say, Phil, give them the first rather than get burned.
By the way, you notice I haven't even talked about looking ahead here to the next opponent. We have the game at hand right now.
I'll tell you what, I'm surprised they don't have Brian Forte out there as a nickelback. At least he probably could catch anyone that might break a loose. And you want to have someone with his ability perhaps out there.
All right, now they go to a shotgun, and Marigato's the quarterback with DeLand as a flanker.
He's the passer.
Getting pressure. He's got a man, and it's right through the hands of DeLand.
And
that'll be it. East Brunswick will take over with a minute 15.
Well, both DeLand and the quarterback are down on their backs. DeLand's getting up now, but
Marigato got leveled.
Marigato is their passing quarterback. When he's not in there, he's at flanker. When he's at quarterback, DeLand's at flanker. DeLand had the ball go right through his hands, and he's played a super game today, and he's probably feeling pretty bad right now.
Yeah, so East Brunswick now appears to be in good shape here. They can chalk this one up here.
Well, as they say, it isn't over until the fat lady sings. And so we'll wait. A minute 15, East Brunswick has the ball on the Edison 7. And regardless of what comes out of this, obviously an East Brunswick win, you have to be somewhat surprised by the fight of the Edison Eagles.
I certainly am. I have all the respect for Gary Reeder's team.
All right, East Brunswick comes out, pitch to Goldstein, turns the corner, still on his feet. He scores his 3rd touchdown from 7 yards out, Dave Goldstein.
I tell you, I'm looking at Dave Goldstein's dad in the stands right now, and he's enjoying this one, and he well should.
Yeah, he should be proud of his son. Excellent effort by him. Well, I don't know, gentlemen. We don't give MVP awards out, but on offense, I'd have to name Dave Goldstein, and I think on defense, Scott Brunetti.
No doubt about it.
I would agree, Jim. Levine on for the extra point to make it 28-18. Fake. Greenberg has it. I don't know where he's going with it.
Well, he faked everybody out, including his own team.
So East Brunswick maintains a 27-18 lead. And you know, they're lucky in a way, 27, that they have 27 points, because even with a 2-point conversion,
That's right.
Edison could only come up 1 point short. It's been that kind of game.
Yeah, it has. And I get the sense that if things go like Edison tonight, every game is going to be a tight one for East Brunswick in the red division. We look forward to next week, John, where the Bears will be traveling to Perth Amboy, taking on the Panthers, who are coached by former East Brunswick
Jerry Youngchuk.
Yeah. Quarterback and receivers coach.
Well, I got to say one thing. If you're Perth Amboy and Woodbridge, obviously Madison Central, but Perth Amboy and Woodbridge, you got to feel you have a real chance against East Brunswick after tonight's game.
Absolutely. Not to mention the bona fide opponents such as Piscataway and J.P. Stevens.
Because the score, even though it's 27-18, really isn't indicative of the type of game this has been. And Dan Levine finally gets one in the end zone.
Well, while we can talk right now, I do want to say, though, that East Brunswick really did miss Giroux and Trent tonight. I just think that caused a lot of problems for Brian Forte. He certainly didn't have the protection, but when you work with a number of with these types of receivers, you depend on them. And there was just an isolated play where it was a little square out, where Brian would hit that pass almost every time, and yet he messed up on it. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I would disagree with you guys. While yes, they're key, and obviously they know each other well, all these receivers run through the same patterns with Brian during practice. And I don't know if it was as much a factor as maybe we thought it would be. High snap. Flag down. Nice play by Pat Casanelli. Marigato in there throwing the ball.
He throws the ball, too.
Illegal shift or motion, if you will, against Edison.
Bears will refuse that.
And East Brunswick will decline. Minute 6 left in the game. Well, we hope you'll be with us next time for the East Brunswick-Perth Amboy game. As Marigato back in shotgun. And a bad snap. Marigato.
My gosh, this is a free ball. Could be a touchdown.
Marigato will pick it up, but it'll be a safety.
Yes, it will.
So it'll be 2 more points for East Brunswick.
So things are starting to deteriorate for Edison. Shouldn't detract, though, from a valiant effort on their part.
Oh, not at all.
So we probably will see Troy Wright. Well, I don't know. You like to rest Brian Forte as much as possible when the game is in the bag, try to prevent him from any, unfortunate injury that can occur when things, when are pretty much over.
Well, Jimmy, it's no big deal either way there, because all Brian has to do is
just
go
sit
down. Right?
Yeah.
All right, Edison has the option of either punting or place kicking it. They're gonna punt. 2 points added to make it 29-18. And Nicholas gets off a poor kick. Charleston will field it and go down with it. Actually, he dropped it.
He made that an adventure. That's a case of Charleston doing the boogie. Nevertheless, he held on to it. Okay.
Do you want to say something, John?
Yeah. We will be looking for
well, it's been a long night for us.
53 seconds left. Edison, I believe, has maybe 1 timeout. East Brunswick will probably go down on one knee, or should.
Forte in there.
And they hand off to DeVito. Joey picking up maybe 5. Clock running, 38 seconds. One more play should do it.
Yes.
So East Brunswick will improve their record to 2-1. Edison will go to 0-2, 16 seconds. East Brunswick looking to take on Perth Amboy next week at Perth Amboy, and we'll be there. And that should do it, down to 5 seconds. Final score, East Brunswick 29, Edison 18.
Well, the Bears will take this victory, John. Be satisfied with it.
See the players congratulating one another in the center of the field.
Well, the thing I noticed most, John, is the way the defense came back in the second half. Credit a lot of that to the coaching.
I agree with you, Jimmy. As I said, we've been very critical, but they did make the adjustments at halftime clearly. Defense came around, did some gut checking, and did what they had to do. Brian Forte was handicapped because of the 2 outstanding starting receivers being out. I think the jury's still out somewhat because they're going to play certainly some tougher teams than Edison, but then again, you got to give them a lot of credit for how they came around today.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, I look at next week's game as being quite pivotal. It is conceivable that the top running back that East Brunswick is going to see all season long, Darrell Cross, he had 1,200 yards rushing last year, was a dominant factor in Perth Amboy's first win over North Brunswick last week. Perth Amboy will be going up against Madison Central tomorrow night, and we'll get a better idea just exactly how potent the Panthers are going to be this year. But East Brunswick will probably be very thankful to have 1 week to look at things, reassess, and find out what adjustments have to be made.
Well, it certainly was not pretty, but it's a win, and right now that's what East Brunswick needs. They improve their record to 2-1, remain in the hunt, obviously, for the GMC, looking down the road, obviously, to Madison Central, but Perth Amboy is going to be trouble for him. Perth Amboy has a history of giving East Brunswick trouble over the years.
True.
And with Jerry Janczek there, he's quite familiar with East Brunswick's philosophy, their strategy. He knows Brian Forte probably as well as anyone, and will, I'm sure, have defenses set up specifically to shut down Brian. So it should be a good game next week with Perth Amboy. So the final here from East Brunswick High School is East Brunswick 29, Edison 18. A good game. We hope to see you next week, where we'll be coming to you from Perth Amboy High School. So for Phil Hill and Jim Allinder, I'm John Meggiolaro saying good night and thanks for being with us.